Europe is spending $8 billion to replace a perfectly good ferry with the longest immersed tunnel of its kind, the Fehmarn Belt Tunnel. That sounds ridiculous. The boat already works, so why build a massive concrete tube to link Denmark and Germany? Because Europe isn't paying all that money to save passengers 45 minutes, it's paying to remove one of the continent's biggest transport bottlenecks. And 2 weeks ago, the builders made an announcement that made the price tag even stranger. They are opening it in 2 stages, years apart. By the end of this video, you will understand why that split makes sense, and why this project may be the cheapest insurance Europe has ever bought. To understand why this is insurance and not indulgence, start with the decision that shaped everything else. Connecting Rugby, Denmark with Puttgarden, Germany, sounds like a job for a bridge. In fact, engineers considered a bridge here first. They rejected it. The seabed in this strait is layered with soft clay and chalk, too weak to anchor deep bridge foundations, according to Per Goltermann, a concrete structures professor at the Technical University of Denmark. This stretch of the Baltic also carries some of Europe's busiest shipping lanes. A bridge means living with the risk of a ship colliding with it. Planners weighed the options and landed on a simple verdict. Goltermann recalled, "What is the cheapest? The tunnel. What is the safest? The tunnel." So they built it immersed instead, not drilled through rock like the Channel Tunnel between England and France. Giant concrete pieces are cast on land, floated out to sea, then sunk into a trench on the seabed. There are 79 standard sections, each 712 feet long and weighing 73,500 metric tons. That's heavier than the Eiffel Tower, times 10, and that is just for one standard section. The builders are also sinking 10 special elements designed solely to house technical and maintenance equipment, bringing the final underwater total to 89. Each one even gets its own name. This element is called Lund, after a Swedish city further along the route it connects to. Inside the finished tunnel, 2 lanes for cars, 2 tracks for electrified trains, and a service corridor between them. Clearing space for all of it took 60 vessels and 4 years, dredging 530 million cubic feet of seabed. None of it went to waste. The state-owned company building the tunnel, Fehmarn AS, is reusing that material to build over 700 acres of new coastal land. On paper, the engineering solution was remarkably straightforward. Build the elements on land, float them out, sink them into place, and connect them together. But building the tunnel turned out to be much easier than delivering it on time. The tunnel was supposed to open in 2029. That date is gone. Fehmarn AS confirmed the project is now running at least 2 years behind schedule. On the Danish side, the holdup is mechanical. A specialised immersion system, 2 pontoons named IV1 and IV2, has faced issues that slowed the entire placement schedule. You can't rush a 73,500-ton object into place 140 feet underwater. Every element has to align within centimetres, or the tube leaks. On the German side, the problem isn't mechanical, it's regulatory. And Germany's caution here isn't new, it's the same fight, resurfacing in a different form. A German conservation group, NABU, spent years arguing this stretch of the Baltic as critical habitat for harbour porpoises sensitive to underwater noise. A federal court dismissed their legal challenge in 2020, clearing the way for construction to begin. But the concern didn't disappear, it just moved from the courtroom into the permitting process. Germany still enforces strict underwater noise limits to protect Baltic marine life, limits Fehmarn says are now making delays harder to recover from. And German transport officials have confirmed the tunnel's railway facilities specifically won't be ready by 2029. Here's what that actually means. Road and rail tubes are cast and immersed together, inside the same concrete element. The bottleneck was never underwater. It's on land in Germany, where rail connections still need permits approved section by section. So Fehmarn made a call. Finish and open the road tunnel first. Let the rail line follow once German permitting clears. That call didn't come from an engineer, it came from the top. Mikkel Hemmingsen is CEO of Sund & Bælt, the company that owns Fehmarn AS and built this project. He didn't just explain the split, he admitted its cost. He said, "A phased opening makes it possible to put the tunnel into use earlier for road traffic, while also reducing complexity in the final stage of the project." Then he added the part that matters more. It is unfortunate for the green transition and for rail passengers that the railway cannot open at the same time as the road connection. Read that carefully. The rail line is the part he's apologising for delaying. Rail was supposed to cut emissions, not just travel time. Once finished, the train journey between Hamburg and Copenhagen will be completely transformed, dropping from 5 hours to roughly 2.5. Trucks and cars can already cross on ferries, slow but already working. Electrified freight and passenger rail through this corridor barely exist at all. The tunnel was meant to build it from scratch. By opening roads first, Femern is solving the traffic problem before the climate problem. Denmark and Germany chose speed for drivers over speed for the planet, for now. Femern chose which promise to keep first. The harder question is why any of this needed building at all. If Denmark and Germany already have a working surface route, why commit to a decade of extreme underwater engineering? The answer is not just local. Here is the detail almost no coverage of this project includes. The European Commission didn't just approve this tunnel, it funded it, putting in €1.3 billion and naming the project a priority. That's not local infrastructure spending. That's Brussels treating one straight crossing as continental strategy. It removes one of the last missing links in a continuous transport corridor, stretching from Scandinavia to the Mediterranean, which means this was never really a Danish-German decision. 2 countries are building it, but an entire continent is depending on it. That's what makes the next part matter, because the thing this project is protecting against isn't hypothetical. A ferry is a single point of failure. It can only carry so many people and vehicles each trip, and weather, strikes, or mechanical failures can stop it completely. A fixed tunnel can't be cancelled by bad weather, and even on a good day, a ferry means boarding times, loading queues, and a fixed departure schedule. A tunnel means none of that. Pay the toll, drive straight through, or board a train and glide right across. In a region where undersea cables and pipelines have already faced high-profile incidents in recent years, a permanent land connection isn't just convenient, it's strategic infrastructure, built to remove a choke point that currently depends on boats. That's the insurance policy hiding inside an $8 billion price tag. And here's the part almost every article about this project gets backwards. The 2-year delay may actually make that policy stronger, not weaker. Every extra season spent testing the immersion process means fewer unknowns once the tunnel carries live freight and passenger rail. A late tunnel that works exactly as designed beats an on-time tunnel with a hidden floor 140 feet underwater. Rushing this wouldn't have made it safer. It would have hidden the real bill until later. Once open, Femern expects more than 12,000 cars and over 100 trains to use this tunnel every single day. None of it is funded by taxes. The project is paid for entirely through tolls, and Femern expects it to take roughly 4 decades to pay itself off. So this was never really a story about concrete and dredging. It's a story about what a government and a continent will spend and how long it will wait to stop depending on a boat. The final verdict won't be found in the elements sitting on the seabed right now. It will be found in whether Europe still calls this insurance worth the premium 40 years from now. That same tension between opening fast and opening right is playing out on an even larger scale on the other side of the Atlantic. That is the story of California's high-speed rail project. Billions spent, deadlines missed, and a very different outcome so far. Click here to watch it next, because the real question isn't how fast a megaproject gets built, is what happens when the deadline breaks first.